Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Omega Insight. Tonight's topic is the no complaining rule. Now, I took this based upon the book called The No Complaining Rule. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a book that's based on positive ways to deal with negativity in the work environment. However, the same rule can apply to our personal lives as well. Instead of using it positive ways to deal with negative employees, we can flip that around and say positive ways to deal with the negativity within me or the negativity I'm creating, and of course, the environment that I'm in. I first wanted to mention the idea about negative. We all know that positive versus negative. Everyone has that. And we all understand the value of being positive. And yet, we spend so much time complaining. I mean, we complain about the traffic, we complain about our family, our spouses, our children, we complain about our coworkers or our friends. We complain about the weather. We complain about the house. We complain about the cleaning and the laundry, and the list is endless. We seem to be creatures of habit where complaining is quite natural. And the idea is that what we want to do is flip this so that we're not complaining all the time. Um, in the book, it's really amazing. The cost of negativity. This is the idea of people who are constantly complaining and it causes negativity. So, the cost of negativity in the economy is anywhere from 250 to $300 billion each year. Now, that's in loss of productivity based upon the complaining and the ripple effect that goes with it. So, 90% of doctors' visits are stress related. A study found that negative employees can scare off a customer they speak with, every customer they speak with for good. And we know that when we've had experiences when we encounter a negative individual, when we go into an establishment, we don't ever want to go back there again. Too many negative interactions compared to positive interactions at work can decrease productivity of the team. Negativity affects the morale, performance, and productivity. One negative person create a miserable environment for others. Now, I'm saying this is all at work, but let's now flip it back to us, me as an individual. If I'm complaining and I'm creating the negativity, that means that I'm the one who is scaring off customers or clients or family members because I'm being negative. My interactions will create negative interactions and nobody will want to be around me. The negativity that I am creating affects not only my morale, my performance, and my productivity, but my family or the space that I'm in, let's say. My negative experience, my negative expression can create a negative environment in my home. So I can flip this from work to myself personally. And of course, the other thing that we all know that the negative emotions associated with the decreased lifespan and longevity, increased risk of heart attack, increased risk of stroke, greater stress, less energy, more pain, fewer friends, and less success. That's just an idea about negativity. Of course, we've talked about negativity before and the positivity and the idea gratitude is one of the quickest ways to establish positive effects in our lives. But I want to go to the no complaining rule. So here's the idea it's a no complaining rule. The first step is you establish a no complaining day, kind of like a no fast. So it's a no complaining. In order to change the habit in our lives, most of the time we say that it takes 30 days to break a habit. But to start off, just go one day, no complaining. And by putting that intention out, it makes you become more mindful that you're not going to complain. So set yourself tomorrow morning. When you wake up, you are not going to complain the whole entire day. No complaining, no complaining. Now, of course, we know that complaining does happen. And the concept is to take our complaints and make them constructive instead of destructive. So the first rule, two rules, no complaint. You set yourself a no complaining day. Do it like a complaining fast. And then once you're successful of going through the whole day, then extend it to a week and then extend it to a month. And then if you could extend it to a year. And then hopefully by then it'll become such a habit you don't have to worry about it anymore. And the second thing, like I said, when you do complain, use your complaints to your advantage. Every complaint is something negative. So Look at the positive. You may not like the traffic, but you're grateful you have a job, and flip it over so that you're not focusing just on the negativity. So let your complaints about your problems move you into solutions instead of stewing about the problems. Move this towards your solutions. Now, there in the book, there is on page 49, there is, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell the author, it's John Gordon. Um, on page 49, he has the three no complaining tools. So here's your rule. One day, start up with no complaining and then use your complaining for assets. So, how do you do that? These are three things that you could do. The first one is the but. When you're complaining, always add a but to the end and find something positive, which I just said. I can complain about the traffic, but I'm grateful I have a job. I can complain about the house falling apart, but I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I can complain that my son doesn't do his laundry, but I'm grateful that my son is living in our house or I'm sharing space with him. So there's a way that you could throw a but in there and spin it around so you don't focus just on the negativity. And eventually you'll get to the point where you're not negative, where the negative isn't first. The second thing is change the have tos to the get tos. Again, I'll go with the same thing. I have to go to work. Oh, I have to go to work. Well, instead of saying that, we can switch it to I get to go to work. Oh, I have to deal with my in laws. Oh, I get to deal with my in laws. I have to have a conversation with my children. Oh, I get to have a conversation with my children. Just that sheer flipping the word have to get to goes in from resistance, which is have to the get to, which is embracing it. I don't have resistance. I'm excited about it. I get to do this. Now, I know there's going to be people who say it's just a play of words and play of mind. Well, yeah, this is all mental. It's all in my thinking anyway. If I can shift my thought process from have to get to, then I have more of a grateful experience, more energetic experience than the resistant. I'm sure you know individuals who have to go to work and they have to deal with this, so they're slow and they're late and they're depressing and like vampires that we have to deal with at work. Have to. I said that. We have vampires that we get to deal with to practice doing the work. Now, I think that's a great opportunity. Anytime we're encountering somebody who's resisting us or we have an opportunity that we get to practice not being upset. We get to practice the no complaining rule. I mean, even if it's as simple as that, it turned it into a game instead of the tension. And then the last one, so of the three sets, it's the but, add the but to the end of the complaint when you recognize that you're complaining. Focus on the get to instead of the have to, and then turn complaining into solutions. So the goal is not to eliminate the complaining. We know complaining can help us. Complaining, hey, I can complain that my bill was too high on my electric bill and it wasn't the right, like there clearly was a mistake. Let's say if my bill's normally 600, excuse me, $300 and it comes in at 600, instead of ranting and raving, hey, I can complain without emotion, call them up and say, hey, I think there was a mistake. It registered as six, and we don't normally have 600, it's only 300. And they'll most likely be apt to help you. We used to say that in the classroom. Whenever you call into an organization and you want to complain, if you complain with emotion, screaming, ranting, and raving, you most likely will be on hold or sent on the runaround, and people won't want to deal with you. Or you can call in just matter of factly, hey, I think there was a mistake. The bill shows 600 and normally we're only at 300. People are most likely wanting to help you if you are not complaining. Now, there also has to be the idea that when I call in and somebody's used to people complaining and now they're negative, how do you handle somebody who's negative back to you? Well, easy. Don't ride into it. Just keep the calm voice, smile if you have to, and just remind them, hey, this was an error. Not blaming them, not attacking them. It's just an error. Oh, I appreciate your help, and come kill them with kindness is what we used to say. So those are the three rules. The but, focus on get to instead of have to, and then turn the complaining from a problem into a solution. Now, I have one final word of caution here. When it comes to the no complaining rule, and you're doing this work for yourself, do it for yourself. Please do not walk around and tell your loved ones, don't complain, add the but, because all you're going to do is annoy them and hinder them. If they want to do the no complain rule with you, get them in agreement. Sit down and explain a no complain rule. Talk about positive and negative. Invite them to join in with you. And when you invite them to join in with you, then it's okay to say, hey, remember the but. But if they're not on board with you, this actually would be a hindrance and you'll turn them against the no complaining rule. I would strongly suggest if you are living in a home and you do have a lot of stress, as we had during COVID, it would be very beneficial if we could all sit down, if you could sit down with your loved ones and talk about, let's initiate a no complaining rule and make it a game. How'd you do today? What did you complain about? Can we find the but? And you could actually sit with the kids and figure out ways that you could have said a but and turn a positive into a negative. It really isn't. It is a part of the brain, and it's not that difficult once we get into the pattern of doing it. As I stated before, we're negative. We all understand the idea of being positive, and yet we default to the negative. So it just is training our thinking. So thank you again for joining me. I appreciate that for this week's topic of the Insight. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Oh, and don't forget Omega One. Our next Omega One is September 10th, 11th, and 12th, and it's open for registration. So I will talk to you soon. Bye now, and good luck not complaining. Bye now.